Oh, let's see. I don't know where to put myself. I'll put myself down there. Let's see. All right. Uh, Save this. Close that. Close. 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 Discord. Okay. Let's
It's
go ahead
now
and get this
time to
started.
select your team. Do you want to build a team from the ground up or take over an established contender? Pay attention to each team's prestige rating, represented by the number of
I'm gonna pick a
stars next to
mid-tier
each team's
team.
name. Teams
Let's
with a
just.
and now you'll choose to create a coach of your own or use an existing one. By creating a custom coach, you
Nope.
will be able to fully customize your
I'm gonna
coach's
get a
backstory,
recruiter
starting
coach.
skills, and look. While existing coaches will come with an established set of skills and team bonuses to begin your journey
I'm
with.
not really sure which coach
Either
has or
option
which
will allow
school
you
has
to
a
earn
recruiter
coach
coach,
points that
but I'm
can
looking
be
for like a
used to
three-star school
unlock
that
unique
has
skills for both on and off field
a recruiter
actions.
coach. Architect, nope, nope, because I'm not creating a custom coach. Low key, I could create a custom coach because I'm gonna simulate the first year. So we'll just go with I don't know. We'll go with the Mustangs. Let's go with them. We're gonna leave it on the custom coach. We're gonna create one, but it's gonna be just that always be Cruton or whatever.
Now it's time to choose your coach archetype. Your starting choices are motivator, recruiter, and tactician. What is
None
the
of this
most
matters.
important
I'm
thing to
not doing
you?
this.
Acquiring players, maximizing
Not
player
doing that.
development, or putting your team in the best position to succeed? Congratulations. It's time to sign your first coaching contract.
Always be Cruton, baby. All right, so I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is just to make things more interesting. I'm going to like create another user, and I'm gonna make that person. Actually, one sec. Let's go with this coach. I'm gonna make this coach go after the same players that I'm going after, so I can get into some battles, so I can kind of be able to explain what I'm looking for in certain competitive moments. Let's see. All right. Let's just make them basically offer scholarships to all the 5 stars. That way we definitely end up chasing some of the same players. Mm-mm-mm. Alright, so I'm only going to make them go after 5 stars. Let's see. Need scholarship. Let's go ahead and offer them scholarships. So I'm just going through offering all these people scholarships. This is Penn State. I'm going to be more so working from the team, the SMU team. But like I said, I want to make somebody that's competitive for us, somebody to compete with on some of the 5 stars at certain points. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, exiting out of that. I won't really do any scouting because, like I said, when I'm making a new coach and I'm new in a league and stuff like that, I don't usually scout players too much. That's just personal preference for me because I'm like, I just want good rated players. So SMU is going to be the main team that we're trying to recruit for. So I'm going to go through the process that I outlined kind of in that document that I typed up the other day. I didn't finish typing the document because, life. But let's see. But I'm going to go through that process still. So I'm looking for all the 5 stars that I qualify for, obviously. And with SMU, it's not that many. Nobody wants to come to SMU, but that's okay. And this dude, he really don't like us, so that's fine. So we're gonna offer scholarships to all of them. Actually, low key, I might as well just go ahead and do the 4 stars also. So like I said, I kind of blind recruit 4 stars until I'm like a top team in a league. Let's see, this is a lot of 4 stars that already have some interest, which is nice. Okay. Offering them scholarships. We know how to have a lot of space. You know what? I just realized I kind of messed up my own process. Usually I go by like who has me first, but I don't know if anybody has me first. So I'm gonna look through this real quick and see if any of the positions have me first at SMU. I don't think they do. Usually somebody, like one of the 4 stars at least, will have me first, but none of them do. That's fine. So that's 10th. I might as well start adding these players. Okay. So, sorry, like I said in the document though, usually I'm looking for players that have me highly rated, like first, that are 4 stars, because I'm going to offer them a scholarship right away. I don't care how good they are. These players that have me ranked, usually I will scout these players because why not? you know, because if I'm not first on that list, I want to make sure that they're worth pursuing. But if I'm first on the list, then that's like easy money. And then athletes are just like, you know, athletes. So let's go over here and let's offer scholarships to these. Let's see, offer scholarships. So like I said, I don't scout 5 stars. I usually don't waste my time doing that because a lot of them come in better than a lot of the players on my team already. So let's see, with these, because we have so many hours, I will scout all these and counter not these, the 4 stars, and remove them from my board if they suck, and just like replace them with somebody that's good. Like I said, my goal is still to leave the 5 stars alone though. Wish there was like a scout all button. That'd be kind of cool. 295 hours. All right, so like I said in that document, don't be dumb. Make sure to calculate how many hours you have left, like I almost forgot to do. Almost got ahead of myself. So I'm pretty sure I offer like 5 scholarships for 5 stars. One, two, three, four. There's only 4 or 5 stars. Wait a minute. That might be right. Let's see. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I scouted a 5 star by mistake. No. All right, so 4. So we need space for 30. So we need 150 hours left over after we're done scouting. So let's see, not done scouting. Scout, 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 scout. Okay, wait a minute. So we're running out of hours. Oh no, I pushed the button one too many times. Well, somebody ain't getting a scholarship offer. Don't do what I just did. Alright, let's see. So I'm just going to go through now and just offer these people scholarships, whatever. Let's see, because I was dumb and did the dumb. So with scouting them, at least like after we move forward, we kind of know which ones to not waste time on. Because our interest will go up. We'll move into the top 10 for some of them. We'll move into the top 5 for some of them. In this case, it looks like all the 4 stars actually were already in the top 10. So let's see, bro. Come on now, come on. This is so exciting. All right. Dragos, look like you ain't getting no scholarship, bro. All right, so we're going to move forward. And hopefully we're in the top 5 for a lot of those guys, or at least the top 10. But we'll see. All right, let's see what we're talking about. Okay, so with the 5 stars, we see right off rip, we only can put in like 60 hours, 50 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, 50 hours, blah, blah, blah. You see, so there's not a lot of positions that we have extra hours in. So what I'm going to do actually at this time, I'm going to turn up that Coach XP slider so that hopefully by the end of this season, I can kind of, you know, build the coach the way I want to. So with the abilities, if we look at our defense coordinator, we have elite recruiter on him, so we're going to try to keep this guy because obviously elite recruiter is like awesome. Down here, we kind of don't like that he doesn't have anything else, but the for some reason he skipped over a lot of stuff, but that's fine. Defensive coordinator is also elite recruiter. That's pretty cool. We got lucky with the coordinators. So next season should be a lot better with recruiting. So what we're going to do for this season, I'm just going to try to put some hours on some people and kind of skip to the end of the season just so we can get the coach built out a little bit and kind of show you some stuff there. But yeah, this 50 hours for 5 stars, that's not really going to cut it. Going against the CPU, that might be fine, but like against real people, it's not going to work that good. Oops, wrong button. Let's see. Bro, 50 hours. I'm so not used to just putting 50 hours. It's like I'm just supposed to hit 50 and then stop and not add more hours. That's crazy. All right, so I see here we got some pretty big schools, Georgia's, Alabama's, and stuff, and we're not even in the top 10. So, in all honesty, with these two right here, I think this would be probably a good time to like kick them off my board since I'm only able to put 50 hours in. I will keep the hours there, because there's a chance that I'll get into the top 10. But I'm saying, like, if this was my dynasty and I was offline, I was playing not offline. If I was playing in a league where my hours mattered, I would rather use these 50 or this 100 hours right here on a player that I felt more confident in getting, especially if I can only put 50 hours on them. So, like, player like this, max him out. I try to max out hours for, all the players that I really care about. So I would say move the players up the board that I'm higher ranked on. This is a point in time where it's like if I was first on a player, I would probably leave them at the bottom of the board to let them marinate a little bit. And honestly, right now, even if I'm the only person that offered them a scholarship, I like to move them to the bottom of the board and, let them cook. We're going to kick this dude off. All right, he got a lot of scholarship offers. We're going to get locked out. What we second? I don't know. Let's just act like we know the player like that. The thing is, I think the biggest thing here is like not, not, sorry. The biggest thing here is like not spreading yourself too thin. So I'm not trying to put 10 hours on all of them. So like if I had a position that I cared more about, I would move that to the top of my board and I would focus on that a little bit more. But right now I'm just trying to recruit some players. Let's see, we move him to the top because he's second and he's a gym. Let's see. So, like, pretty much if I'm putting hours on a player, I'm maxing them out. I'm not putting 10, 10, 25, 15, or anything silly like that because I, like, actually want to get the players. And I'm okay with losing some people. So, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that these players that I'm deciding to put 50 on or whatever, every player that I've put 50 on, let's pretend that that's been a player that, like, plays a position that I actually, really need it. All right. So, like, the players that I skipped, they might be players that I don't really need, or a player that I'm in first place on, or I'm the only person offered him a scholarship. Because if I'm the only person offering him a scholarship, I'm okay with like I said, put him at the bottom of my board, let him cook for a little bit. I'll check on him every week, but they're not a priority of mine right now because I'm going to be building interest with just a scholarship offer. So let's see. Okay. So, in our imaginary world, these top 12 players, these are going to be my must have players. All right, we're going to pretend that these are the guys that I really, really care about getting. Okay. Now, so I'm going to do two other things real quick. I'm going to make sure that we win games because I'm not playing these games. I'm not playing a game with SMU. So let's see, force away win. I'll pretend that we won like the first 10 games. Bro, this is the lamest way to do this. Where's the schedule? Team schedule. Went to the wrong schedule. All right, let's see. So home win, home win, home win, away win, away win, away win, home win, home win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's an FCS game. All right, so we'll leave these last two games up to chance. All right. Actually, what I want to do, we made the XP slider up already. I want to go over here to this, this fake user, and kind of max out his hours for just for the 5 stars that I'm competing with him on. So I'm like, I actually low key do not remember the names of the people I'm competing with him on. Let's see. We have a lot of positions though that we can put 5 hours on, or more than 50 hours on, which is nice. It is crazy that 50 of these, or like all these 5 stars, are like interested potentially. Okay, so 60. I actually used to do a dynasty where I like control like 4 teams, and I would like only recruit for 3 of those teams. And like, I mean, I would recruit for all 4 teams, but I only played games with one team, and that was because it like made it more competitive. It's like I was competing with myself for recruits, so that was kind of weird. Honestly, I should probably prioritize the ones that have me first. But I think you get in the common trend, like if you're watching this, that you want to max out the hours, all right? And I'm gonna say that probably a gajillion more times. You want to put as many hours as you can, because you never know, like when a team that's not in their top 10 is going to try to sneak up on you, and take the player that you only put in 25 hours on or 10 hours on, and then it's like it's too late because it's like you don't know how many hours they're able to put on it. So like if I'm like trying to recruit, let's say this guy right here, let's say I was LSU, just because I'm in first place, like that doesn't mean to me that I'm like, okay, I can only put 25 hours on it because I'm in first place. I'll be fine. I wouldn't do that because, you know, whoever's at number 10, the person I can't see could be like the best recruiter in this whole league that I'm in, and they might have 80 hours that they can put on the player. And so next week I come here and it's like, I'm in second place and they have like this fat lead when in reality I could have still been in first place with this much of a lead, and maybe they caught up to me a little bit, because that could be all the difference, especially with these 5 stars. Some of them commit like week 2, week 3, so you want to get as big a lead early on as you possibly can. Now, another thing I'm looking for when I'm recruiting, I'm always kind of conscious of pipelines. I know a lot of people don't care about pipelines, but like that can be like the difference between me deciding to pursue one athlete over another. So like if you look at these two players here, if I was like low on hours, I see that I'm not in the top 10 for either of these players. I have a level 2 pipeline on this player and I have no pipeline on this player. So I'm way more likely to say, okay, I better max out this player or put the hours on this player instead of pursuing this player. We can kind of actually do a little experiment with that and see if that matters. Let's see which one of these players we actually, increase on. Let's see. Let's move them up to the top. I like little experiments. Cause I'm curious. Like this would be a good chance to see like if that like how much that pipeline actually matters. So I guess it depends on how low I am technically, like right now, this moment. But I'm not in the top 10 at all, so it'd be interesting to see like how much influence I gain with both. Let's see. Okay, so bro, why'd you hit 25? Out of all the things I could hit. Okay. Almost done. Let's see, do we have any more pipelines that don't have offers? Okay. There we go. I thought I saw a pipeline. What? Am I hallucinating? Alright, well, this is one. Give him max hours. Any more pipelines? Alright, so no more players with good pipelines. Oh, this player has a pipeline. Alright, and we might pursue. So now that I'm done with the players with no pipelines, I have 65 hours left. So, I mean, in this case, I would, it would make the most sense to go after a player that can have 65 hours on them, in my opinion. There's a lot of things you can use to kind of like judge what you want to do in this case. So, like, let's just say, I don't know, let's pretend that these are the only, let's say one, two, three. These three players are the last three players that I need to give hours to. I have 65 hours. I could take the approach of giving, 10, 20, 15, whatever, to to different players. But I prefer to kind of just put all those hours at one person and kind of confirm that I'm getting that person, or confirm the kill, as some people would say. So like this one, I see this person's closer to reaching their top eight, and there's Georgia and Clemson and Alabama up there. This person here has Alabama and LSU and TCU. This seems like a more manageable fight than this does to me, especially since there's two purple pipelines up there, some blues. This right here, we only got a purple, gold, and a blue. So I'm like, this to me seems more manageable than this right here. But then we come down here, same thing. We got two purple pipelines, and it's like 60 hours I can put on them, 60 hours, 50 hours. So this is a more manageable fight, but I can only put 50 hours. I'm more likely to get somebody I can put 60 or 65 hours in. So I would go with one of these 60s in this case. But then again, that's just my personal preference. Because I'm like, if I put 50, I could take the lead here. But because I'm only able to put 50 later on, like 2 weeks from now, there's a good chance that LSU, Alabama, or, Ohio State, any of them teams in this top 10 could come out of nowhere putting 75 hours on it, and potentially lock me out. I don't know when I'm going to get into the top 10. So I prefer, even if I'm fighting against bigger teams, Georgia and Clemson and purple pipelines and all that, I prefer to pick a player that I'm able to put 60 hours on. Now, with that being said, if I'm choosing between these two, I'm going to choose the one that has the lower starting influence. So, like right here, they're closest to the top eight. Up here, they're kind of, sorry, here they're closer to the top eight. This player is less. So I'll probably go with the one that's less because that gives me a little bit more time potentially to catch up with those teams that are already in the top 10. Then the last thing, just throw these 5 hours at the last person last person on the list. All right, so we're going to switch. Actually, let's go ahead. Hold on, you know what? Oops, what am I doing? All right, let's switch teams. Let's go back to our main team. All right, so we finished recruiting. We're going to advance to week one. And like the most exciting part about week 0, week 1, and all that, week 0, week 1, and week 2, is it really kind of like sets the influence and shows you like, or sets the tone for the whole season. Like you should be able to tell early on, like week 1, like how many, like week 1, week 2, how many 5-star players you're going to get, you know. And especially if you have like a team that you've already built out the, the my school grades on. So that means you're going to get like good hard sales and stuff like that. Like you should be able to tell early on how many 5-stars you're going to get, and you should be able to decide when to get out. Like I feel like the most important thing with recruiting in this game is knowing when to, hit the road. You know what I mean? So let's take a moment to look at these real quick. Actually, we'll come back to this. Let's go finish Penn State's, and then we'll come back over here and make some decisions to kind of work through, like our recruiting logic. All right, Penn State. Because I want to look at those first two players. So we added 60 here. We jumped all the way up to second. And this is the one with the type 2. I'm thinking of type 2 diabetes. This is the one with the tier 2. I almost said diabetes. The tier 2 pipeline. And we jumped all the way up to second. And then holy crap, look at that. Look at that jump. That is an insane jump. We jumped all the way up to first with 60 hours on this person. So, I mean, to me, I don't know how far we jumped up in this case, I guess. I, you know what? This person's in a top 8 already. So there's really no telling how far we jumped up. So I'm not sure if that's actually bigger or not. But that is really, really interesting. That was a big jump. Okay. So, like I said, usually week 1, week 2 at the latest. Like, I know for a fact by week 2 if I need to take my hours back and put them somewhere else. Like, if you're unsure by week 2, you might as well just take your hours out and put them somewhere else, because that means you don't know what you're doing, or you're probably gonna lose the recruit and it's too close. You might be able to fight it out, but I prefer personally to get more sure things. So let's look through this. So if I'm Penn State, right here, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Obviously, it's a big league, good pipeline. I'm able to put more than 50 hours. Loving what I'm seeing here, mainly because there's no other users in the top. All right, so yeah, so I mean, like, man, Penn State about to end up with a good year this year. It's pretty easy recruiting offline, which is nice. Let's kick some of these that we getting locked out on. Let's go ahead and kick some of these off. All right, so I actually just realized I skipped a step with the other team. So, like, let me go back. Let me go back to the other team. So, in these online leagues, like, you have to, oops, what did I just do? Yeah. In the online leagues, you have to make sure that you're checking the players that do not have scholarship offers every week, like, especially early on. And you want to do that later on too, but early on, like, I want to be looking at these 5-star prospects, like, especially realistically, I should have looked at this in week 0, but I didn't do it, just to see if there was anybody that didn't have an offer. In this case, everybody has an offer, and I offered everybody I could anyways. But it's just a good habit to get into. The next thing I would do, I would clean up my board first. Let's just look through and see who we should kick off based off how much influence we gained. So right here, looking great. Looking great. Like, you just really, it's almost like you can get like a ruler and kind of measure how much influence you're gaining versus how much the other people are gaining. Like, so, like, say Alabama, like, they're in first place, but I don't know, their lead, we'll say, is like an inch. They're gaining an inch. They only gained an inch last week. But us, we see that we're gaining like 1.5 inches. So that means if, nothing stays, I mean, if everything stays the same and nothing changes, we should be able to obviously overtake them. Now, with that being said, if I'm doing everything that I can, right? Okay. Say, I don't know, say I'm doing everything I can. Say I'm Ole Miss right there. If these are all user teams, if I'm Ole Miss and I see that SMU is coming from the bottom like that, especially if I know historically that SMU has been like an awesome recruiting school and it's like out recruited a lot of people. So I don't know, like in the online league I'm in, like, let's say JMU. If I know that JMU is coming that heavy from behind, and I'm maxing out my hours and I'm in number 2 right now, and he's not even in the top 5, I should take my 50 hours off if I'm Ole Miss. That is a waste of my 50 hours. If I know, if I know that I'm not even in first place right now, and SMU is coming from behind with 1.5 times my level of influence that I'm gaining each week, I'm wasting my time staying with this recruit. It's nice to be in the battle and say I'm in the battle, but, like, there is no shame in dropping out in week 1 to put them 50 hours towards a 4-star that's being under recruited or not recruited at all. Like, let's see. So this player here, I see Penn State. That's the fake user that I added, which is myself. But I don't know which of us is really gaining the most influence. Like, they're up there first, but I can't see where we both started. So, like, there's no way to know if SMU started at a lower level than Penn State or if we started at equal levels, or it's hard to say. We do know because we're Penn State that we are able to add more hours. So most likely Penn State's going to gain faster than I can. So like this might be a good situation to take my stuff out, but I don't know that if I'm competing with somebody online. So we're going to pretend that we don't know that. But this is just shows the weakness of having only 50 hours for a player. Like you're almost wasting your time if you're online competing with people. Like if there's a CPU team, like right here, if it's just 50 hours, unless somebody else was outgaining me ridiculously, with 50 hours, this is fine. I can compete with 50 hours, but not in online leagues. You're wasting your time basically with 50 hours, in my opinion, with competing with real people. So moving down to this guy, looking great here. Clearly, we're gaining way more influence than they're getting right there, like than any other team that has offered a scholarship. Looking great. Same thing right here. Oregon's not putting any hours on them. Let's see. Same thing here. Now, if we pretend that all these teams were real people, if I'm Baylor and I've maxed out my 50 hours, let's say it was 50 hours, let's pretend that we all are putting 50 hours in this situation. I'm not, like, if I'm Baylor, what I would do personally in this case, let's say, like in the league I'm in, right? Say I'm Air Force, and I don't know, let's pretend that you're, okay, well, never mind. And let's if you're Baylor and I'm SMU, I see this and I'm like, okay, this is going to be an easy win because most likely that person's maxing their hours out. What I would do if I'm SMU is I would keep my hours maxed out because you want to confirm that you're going to get this player. All right. And like from your perspective, if you're Baylor, what I would do personally is I would go in here and I would take my hours off. I might not necessarily kick them from the board, but I would in certain situations. So, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. I would kick this player off my board if I was Baylor, if I wasn't competing with SMU for other players. Okay, so let's say, let's pretend that this 5-star here, let's pretend these both were 5 stars. Okay, if Baylor was competing with SMU in this situation and this situation, in my opinion, and something that I've done, I find it smarter to just remove my hours off of the player if I'm Baylor and leave the player on my board. Like, since other users can't really tell how many hours you're taking off of a player, like to them, it'll look like you're still just heavily pursuing this player. Like me personally, I don't want to give anybody the satisfaction of, knowing that, hey, you're going to get a comfortable win with this player. Just, I'm not even chasing him anymore. I've removed him from my board completely. Like, no, I'll leave the scholarship on there, take the hours off, move him to the bottom of my board, so that player pursues him still and keeps max hours on him, especially if this is a person that I'm competing with other 5 stars for. Like, I want you to think that you're in, I don't know, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, 7 competitions for 5 stars instead of 6. Because if you're only in 6 competitions, you might be able to put more hours over here. So now, instead of just beating me on this one 5-star, like now you're going to beat me on, who knows how many 5 stars, depending on how many we're competing for. So I want you to think we're fighting for this 5-star down here. And so they'll be able to tell after a week, but sometimes a week difference in influence is really all it takes, because you could have been competing with them for a 5-star where maybe they were only putting 25 hours on. But now, because they saw that you removed your offer down there, they can come put 65 hours on this person instead of 25 hours because they know they're going to get the other person. So that's just a random thing that I do sometimes. Let's look through the rest of this. Well, I mean, clearly we have a good lead there. This season is a little bit weird because, like I said, I feel like usually I have some players that have me first that I get to literally leave down here and let them cook. So like this player here is a good example. There's nobody else with an offer. So like I will leave him at the bottom of the board and let him cook while I focus on the big boys up here. All right. Now, last thing we want to do, we want to go through position by position every week and make sure there's no 4-stars that don't have offers. In this case, there is. Personally, I don't care how good they are. I want them. I want them all right? And like in our league, like even as Air Force right now, and like our online league, I see a lot of teams like ignoring some 4 stars. I'm like, I don't care if they're a bust. If they're a 4 star player, they can come on. Like bring them. So like what I would do in this case is let's just pretend half of those 4 stars are available. I would kick off, I don't know, let's just say kick off one of these contested players. And of course you're looking through your, looking through their scouting reports and all that stuff because you care more about the players. Let's see. You care more about their skills and stuff than I do right now. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Let's go back over here, sorting my scholarship offers. Let's see where they at. All right, so we got 1. We max out the board. All right, 2. And we got room for 1 more. All right. I personally find that the biggest difference with the online and the offline recruiting is I feel like you have to be a little bit extra with the online recruiting. And I feel like if you're not willing to pay that extra attention to detail, then you kind of end up like, you know, falling behind the people that are willing to. So like every week, I'm looking through the players that I got to steal some hours from somebody. Every week, I'm looking through the players that don't have offers. Especially if I have a few extra hours. Let me see. Let's see. All right. So, dang, why did I put all those hours back on there? Give me them hours back, bro. All right. So these players that we're adding scholarships to right now, we're gonna leave them at the bottom of the board and let them cook. If somebody else comes and steals them from me, personally, I don't care. Because I am really just trying to, get as many 4 stars and 5 stars as I can. So like I'm those that scholarship offer is gonna cook with these players. With that being said, we have coaching points, so we might as well go in here and upgrade this coaching skill tree because that'll help with our recruiting. Let's just kind of max out a couple of these. Like our goal is to really max out all of this, and then not kicker, of course. We don't care about kicker and punter, but the goal is to max that out. Actually, let's go back to this real quick. With these coordinators, ideally we would get abilities that kind of stack with each other because you see at the bottom of the screen, the impact of coach abilities increase if owned by more than one coach. So if we got this recruiter, so I just went and paid for or bought like the quarterback recruiting. The fact that he has tier 2, this recruiting actions have bigger impacts on quarterbacks, and the fact that I now have it, my recruiting impact should be, kind of amplified on quarterbacks. I see that he does not have that. I believe I bought it for defensive line for myself because he does have that. I did not buy that, but that's okay. The point is, the more coaches have it, the better, because the more impact you'll have, or more influence you'll have as you move forward. Let's just move ahead. All right, so we're moving into week 2. At this point, I should definitely know which 5 stars to kick off my board. I should know which ones completely are a waste of my time at this point. If you don't, like, you don't know what you're doing. All right, so right here, or let's start at the top. Right here, clearly I got a good lead. I'm gaining more influence than anybody else. That's going to be a win. Here, I mean, we don't even need to talk about that because, it's too easy. But, okay, so like this situation right here. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is a player I said I would have kicked off the board earlier. I do have extra hours now. I can put 65 hours on him. So, like if I'm not mistaken, earlier with this player, because I could only pick 50 hours into him, same thing with this guy. I honestly would have kicked both. Like I would not have pursued both of these players. Like in an online league, like there's no way, unless this corner is stupid slow, there's no way that he's still available right now. Like there'd be like 3 other users in here trying to get him, especially with him being a slot archetype. Like, come on, let's be real. So with me only having 50 hours against the computer, that's fine. I can compete with the computer. But when I get down here, if Penn State is another user, as soon as this hits top 5, he's going to get, I expect him to schedule a visit as early as humanly possible, unless he's, an idiot. But it's me, so he's not. So what I need to do in this case, if I wasn't able to add the extra 15 hours, which I am able to add now, because of the the points I just added. I'm able to add an extra 15 now. I might actually be able to catch up to him because I see that he's gaining a little bit more influence than I am, just a little bit. Okay, so like I feel like over time I'm going to catch up with him, and as soon as we hit that top five, I'm trying to schedule a visit as early as humanly possible. All right, so let's see what we're working with. This one, you personally, me personally, when this happens, like there's a couple times, probably at least once each season, where there's a 5 star that no other users are going after. Because it could be his deal breaker. He could have a proximity deal breaker. He's too far away from the other users that would pay attention to him, or he could have a coaching prestige deal breaker. Anything. For some reason, other coaches are not pursuing him. Then this is beautiful because I'm like in this case, usually I would say keep your foot on the gas. But in this case, if I'm being honest, what I would do in this case, because other users are locked out of him, there's no way other users can get in. I just got to outsmart the computer in this case. I'm taking my 25 hours back. I'm gonna keep some hours on him. Like I don't want to go, skimp. I don't want to skimp on the hours and give him just 5 hours. But I'm gonna give him at least 25 hours, and I'm gonna use these 30. Like now I have 35 free hours. I'm gonna use that somewhere else. So let's see, somewhere else where I'm losing a battle or it's close. So like right here, I'm losing a battle. I've only been putting 30 hours on him. Let's see, we're gonna up that to 50 now. Now this player here bring me to a good point. I would hard sell as soon as possible. So let's go to the end top five. Like if you look to the L2 button, I don't know. I mean, you probably know this by now, but if you can sort them by like all these different categories: ready for a visit, visit scheduled, need scholarship, blah blah blah. All right, so ready for visit. Who's locked me out? Get out of here. All right. So these two players are ready for a visit. These are 4 stars. I'm not super focused on them. If they were 5 stars, I'd be all about it. But in this case, I'm not all about it. But if they're ready for a visit because they're in their top five, this should be the same list. If I go to my in top five list, that means I can hard sell. So I'm looking to hard sell the moment it is available. Waiting an extra week against a user could be the difference between winning a recruit and losing a recruit. Like literally sometimes all it takes is 1 week of them getting a head start on the hard sell. Like there's a chance that they can get a week early anyway, so you don't want to give them an extra week to get the hard sell earlier than you. So what we want to do, his deal breaker is championship contender. So we want to see if we can figure out what his hard sell is. We need 2 of the greens. We know athletic facilities and we know championship contender are 2 things that matter for him. Let's see if we can find. So maybe this one. That's a B plus, B, and a B minus. I like to use the scale, which you can't really see. I kind of keep it literally right by my notebook right here. I'll post it in the Discord for our league. But basically, I forgot. I got it from a different YouTuber or a YouTuber, but it's a point system that you can use to determine if the hard sell is worth it or not. And this scale has A plus equaling a 12, and each letter grade or decrease in grade is 1 less. So A plus is 12, A is 11, A minus is 10, and so on. D minus being 1, 1 point. So what you want to do with that information is, sorry, I lost the hard sell. Where's the hard sell? I thought I found it. Is it this? Okay, I think it's this. So what you want to do is add these up. So he has an A, so that's on that scale it's 11 points. Championship contender is a B plus on the scale. That's 9. So you got 11 plus 9. That's 20. Then you have a B minus. B minus is 7. So you got 20 plus 7. Anything over 21 means you should hard sell it. So we're going to hard sell that thing. And low key, I want to make sure that that's his actual pitch because I was kind of, no, I don't have hours left. What? Oh, I got to double check those pitch because I was talking, and when I'm talking, I can't think straight sometimes. So let's see. Championship contender. Oh, all right, there we wait. Not that. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that is the right one. All right. So and then we max out the hours. Again, if it's a player we care about, we max out the hours. I told you I was gonna say that a gajillion times. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I'm mentioning everything that I can think of, because there should be something useful in every week that we advance. Um, Utilize all your hours, obviously. So I'm just gonna throw these hours onto this guy. Okay. Let's let's force advance. Let's move ahead. Let's move this thing ahead. All right, so we've moved all the way to week 3. If you've been building your coach in a smart way, meaning like you've been trying to get elite recruiter and you've been like just building up your recruiting coach abilities, like you should by like week 3 you should start having some players that are either about to commit or like close to committing, or at the very least you should have a lot of players that are ready for visits. So like let's see, so just throw that on there. I'm just adding points at this point because, like I said, my end goal is to max this all out. All right, let's look at recruiting real quick. Let's look at recruiting. All right, so looking great. I'm like, I don't even need a visit in this case. All right, so we're not in the top 5 yet, but if I'm in an online league and I see something like this, the thing that I'm doing, like what I'm doing is I'm making sure to pay attention to when that advance is. All right. So if the advance is at 9 a.m., I'm not gonna lie, y'all. If I'm after this 5 star and the advance is at 9 a.m., get like if I work the next day, guess what I'm gonna be doing at 9 a.m. I'm gonna be taking a bathroom break at 8:58, maybe 8:57 to get on my remote play to get on there and schedule this visit. And is it that deep? It depends on how extra you want to be. To me personally, I like recruiting. I'm in a couple leagues. In some leagues, I'm the commissioner, so I'm advancing. So that is, an advantage that I get. But in the leagues and I'm not the commissioner, I still like I said, I got to be ready. Like if that league is advancing at 11 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 p.m., whatever time it is advancing, I have to be ready and know which players are about to enter that stage. And so, like, if I'm not willing to be that extra about it, then I'm going to end up with, mediocre classes because I'm going to get, outdone by the people that are willing to be that extra. So, like this player right here, he's going to be in his top 5. Like I don't necessarily need to keep him on my radar as much because of that huge lead that I have. So it's like he enters the top 5. If I don't notice until halfway through the day tomorrow, like say we advanced at 9 a.m., if I don't notice tomorrow, if I don't get on to the PlayStation until 6 p.m., excuse me, if I don't get onto the PlayStation until 6 p.m., it's fine in this case. It doesn't matter how early I get on to schedule his visit. Even if University of Houston or whatever, whatever, is that Utah? Yeah, wait. Now I'm trying to remember. Whatever school that is, that I think that's Houston. I don't know. But either way, if that was a user, even if they scheduled a visit before me because of the huge league that I have or the huge lead that I have, it wouldn't matter. Like I would just schedule a visit for like the week later. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. All right, and then I'll be fine. But in this case right here, I need to be the first person, if not one of the first people, to log in to schedule this visit. Like say all these people are users, unless your league has like 30 people in it or 32 people, like this won't be the case. But unless all these people are users, not unless, if all these people are users, you absolutely need to be the first person in there because any of these people, any of those 7 people, could win this player still. Like I honestly feel like if Florida State has a coach with abilities and stuff, and they start putting in more hours and stuff, they could easily like take over that player, like easily take that player over, especially if they get a visit in earlier. But they would have to like jump somebody obviously to get into the top 5. Moving forward, kick somebody out. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, but I'm SMU in this case, so I still, as you can see, it looks like I may be gaining interest either at the same rate or a faster rate than Penn State. I'm not sure. It's probably the same. So I need to make sure as soon as we advance, if the commissioner says 9 a.m. advance, I need to be on that PlayStation scheduling that visit. I need to find a way to do it. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, this brings to mind something very important, something that I always do and look for. So, what we're gonna do, and what we're gonna do is pretend that just Penn State, Georgia, and SMU, those are the user teams in this dynasty. We're gonna pretend that those are the user teams. All right. So even though Penn State jumped Georgia, that does not mean that Georgia is going to automatically lose this player because they've made it to this close to the top five. Like, you know what I mean? So they're in the top three as we move into the top five. Because they're in the top three, they might fall out of the top three or fall down 2-3, but they've survived this long and they're close to the top still. So that means that if they schedule a visit, they can still jump everybody else. So what I'm doing, if I'm SMU, the day or whatever before we advance, I'm going to check out Georgia and Penn State's schedule. This is just another layer of extraness that a lot of people aren't willing to do. But me personally, I like details. I pay attention to details. I mean, it's like I'm literally a pharmacist, and like little details can kill people. So I pay attention to details. I like numbers. I like information. So what I do is I look at their schedule and see when they can schedule visits. Because that matters. When can I schedule a visit? That also matters. So like that, both of those matter equally as much in my opinion. Actually, what week are we in? I'm not paying enough attention. So we're in week 3. So let's see. We're in week 3. I got a bye week. I have a home week in 4. A home game in week 4 and week 5. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That makes it easier. That means that more than likely I'm going to be able to get a visit in early. Just a matter of hoping that these other 2 teams do not have a visit in those weeks. Because then it's like, it doesn't matter. Then maybe I don't have to go to the restroom at 8:58 at work tomorrow. If Penn State has an away game during, week 4, or sorry, not week 4, week 5, because we're going to advance to week 4. So really week 5 is what counts the most right now in this situation. So if Penn State has a home game in week 5, then I'm stressing a little bit. I need to get on that PlayStation before the Penn State user does to schedule that visit. So like in this case, he does. There's a chance. There's been plenty of situations in my online leagues where players don't understand the importance of visits. So maybe they don't schedule it, you know what I mean? Or they wait for me to schedule one, almost like to see if I'm going to use hours on it. Like if I don't schedule a visit, maybe they won't, type of deal. I don't know. But in this case, Penn State has a visit week 5. And then the other team, who was the other team? It's Georgia. We want to see what not a visit. They have a home game week 5. So Georgia at least has an away game week 5. So really, it's the Penn State user that I don't want to kind of screw me over. I don't want Penn State to get on there and schedule that visit before me. All right, so I need to be diligent and get on there to schedule that visit. All right, as soon as we advance. All right, I'm asking the commissioner what time are we advancing? When is advance? You know what I mean? And pretty much any commissioner will be willing to tell you like when advance is expected to be. They can't always tell you exactly, but they can tell you because sometimes they know more than you do. They might know when the last user is scheduled to play their game or when they're going to get their game out the way so that the league can move on. But the more information you have, the better. So you want to ask these questions. Let's see. I don't think I have much else to say about that. I've already mentioned, you want to max out hours wherever you can. Let's go through this list actually and determine which players to kick off my board because you want to be every week, literally every advance, you want to go through the whole list and determine which players are a waste of your time. All right. So like, let's see. We'll start with this one. Clearly not a waste of my time. Clearly not a waste of my time. This is going to be a close one, but this is the one that remember we got to get on here at 8:58 to schedule that visit because Penn State can schedule a visit for week 5 as soon as we advance to week 4. All right, so this one, definitely not a waste of my time. I do see that I can put more hours on him, so I'm going down to a 4-star to steal hours from them. Let's see. Honestly, I think this player here is a waste of my time. And I say that because I'm going to steal these 15 hours and I'm going to lock them into another player. maybe I won't kick him off, but what I will do is take these hours still, because that scholarship offer is still going to gain influence. So what I need to do though is I want to add these hours to this 5-star up here because we upgraded our coach. All right, let's see. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right, in this case, I don't like this. I'm adding 50 hours and he's still gaining. If this was a player that I was in love with, like if I was looking at a scouting report and saw he had 95 strength, his run blocking was 90 or 85 or whatever, and I'm like, okay, gotta have him, then I'm finding a way to max him out. Stealing hours from somebody else, maxing him out. This case, I don't care enough about this player. I'm just gonna kick him, take my 50 hours elsewhere. In this case right here, this is a good situation. I feel like I can put some hours on him, but I want to make sure that none of these other players. Let me see. I do want to make sure that all the 5-stars have max hours because we've been upgrading the coach. Look at this 5-star not having max hours. What's wrong with me? Max them hours out. All right, everybody else max hours, max hours. Okay, so you want to. The name of the game is always max out them 5-stars. Hopefully that makes sense. Max them out, my guy. All right, so I think in this case we could probably come back. If I put a lot of hours on them, but I want to see if there's somebody else that's more winnable to guarantee. I like surefire things. I like to know that I like to be able to look at my board and count how many people I'm gonna get. All right, so let's see. I think okay, I think we're gonna lose some of these people, but which ones? Which ones do I not care about? Definitely don't care about this guy. Bye, Mr. Bust. Big lead. He's a gem though. Things get a little bit more interesting. It's a gem. Let's just see, because we only have 25 hours. That's a lost cause. Lost cause, locked out, obviously. Big lost cause. So you want to be cleaning up this board every week. Like this, I might be a little bit weird, but I'm getting excited about recruiting for this team that I'm never going to play with. I think I just like recruiting. I might have a problem. All right, so I don't like that Arkansas here got involved. I see they got a little jump. I'm down there somewhere because this is a player I offered a scholarship to last week, so I might still go ahead and offer him some hours. Just throw something on there, to help push me into that top a little bit. Arkansas is competing for him, and they don't have a scholarship offer. So, got to screenshot this. Arkansas is competing with them, or competing for him, and they don't have a scholarship. Wait, what am I trying to say? Arkansas gave them a scholarship offer and they moved up. So we need to, I think I'm okay with competing with them. They don't have a pipeline either, so I think this is a winnable player. I can put more than 50 hours into him later after I get rid of the 5-star, so I can fight for him a little bit later. So that's fine. I like that I'm still not in this top 10. Wait, I don't like that. I like that nobody else is in this top 10, I should say. All right. I don't know. So if I needed this player real bad, I think I would fight for him more, but I don't. I think by the time I'm able to fight for him, it's going to be too late. So it's all about knowing what to do with your hours. So I only have 15 hours, but I'm thinking I need to think very clearly and critically what I'm going to do with those hours. Like, this isn't like my team or super in team. Like, I don't know this team like that, but you should know your team and what your team needs real bad. So I'm like, if my team needed a linebacker, I'd be willing to go up to this middle linebacker position and make some decisions. Like, okay, I'm pursuing this 5-star athlete run stopper that's going to be a linebacker for me. Do I really need 3 more of these guys? I got this one that I might get, and then I'm losing that one, losing this one. If I really need a linebacker, I do like a backup plan because, like I said, I like a surefire thing. So I would go after this guy maximally with 60 hours. I would not take 60 hours from him or hours from him, even though I have this fat lead, to go after him or one of these. I wouldn't. In this case, though, let's say this was an online league. If this was a 5-star that only I were pursuing and everybody else is locked out, which they are, I don't think there would be anything wrong with shaving 10 or 5 hours off, and just dropping down to 50 hours. Because I can jump back up to the 60. The safe bet with 5-stars, though, is to keep them maxed out. Like if like in most of my leagues, if there's anything, if there's a player that I got that I have to have, like that I have to have, I'm not taking hours off of them at all. I might take 5 off because I need 5 more to make a visit for somebody else, but I am never taking more than 5 or 10 hours off. Like 10 hours is that sounds crazy to me. Never. So so in this case, we have a fat lead. It is CPU teams only. So like to make sure I get this guy, I think I am willing to go ahead and add that 25 hours there. Like we're pretending that we need a middle linebacker real bad. All right. Let's talk about one more thing. This is the last thing. Let's go to the top 5. All these players are in their top 5, okay? So, we talked about it. As soon as players get into their top 5, that's when you want to start hard selling. So you got to make sure that you're, doing your due diligence with that. And hard selling, I honestly don't feel like doing it, but for the demonstration, I will. Hard selling all of them. We can go do the point thing again. So he has an A, B, B minus. So A is 11 points, a B is 8 points, so that's 19 points. A B minus is going to be 7 points. So 19 plus 7, clearly more than 21, is worth hard selling. So we're going to hard sell for that man. All right. All right, let's see. Um, okay, so this might be a good example. Let's see. So like let's look at his hard sell grade. So first of all, proximity to home is his deal breaker. My face is covering it. Let's see. Proximity to home is deal breaker. Where's your ideal pitch? All right, this is his ideal pitch. Proximity to home is his deal breaker. If we let's look at this, calculate this grade. I don't know if he's going to be good enough because remember we have to get over 21 points for the hard sell to be effective. So B minus, that's going to be worth, we said 7 points, and A is 11 points because the A plus is 12. So we have 11 plus 7, that's 18, and he has a D for his pro potential grade, or we have that. So that's only worth 2 points because a D minus is worth 1. So wait a minute, what did I say? I forgot already. 11 plus 7, so that's 18. 18 plus 2, so that's 20. So personally, whenever it gets like that, that's too close for me. I'd rather just literally throw them hours back on there. I'm not hard selling this guy. I won't be able to. I need to have over 21 points for his grades in order to really, have that hard sell be effective. All right, and not hurt me in some way. Let's check out this guy's hard sell. We got some low grades, bro. This team sucks. What's this? Proximity to home. All right, let's see if we can find this. Dang. Okay, so it's too soon. We don't know it yet. I'm thinking you're getting the general gist, though. So, like, in theory, all these top 5, if they have over 20 hours on them, I would be trying to hard sell or at least soft sell, because they are in their top 5. All right, so like a guy like this, I only have 25 hours on them. I would want to at least soft sell. I would try to find that soft sell for him and try to lock that in a little bit. See if I can. Okay, maybe it's that because that'll give me the most influence. I want to look for what has 3 green check marks. Dang. Okay, so yeah, we don't know what it is yet. So back to 25 hours with them. All right. And then we move forward. So what I would do, like ideally in the ideal situation, I would make sure that I'm hard selling as soon as possible. I'm scheduling visits as soon as possible. So like, where's TCU's logo? That's weird. So anyways, we already talked about it. We knew one of these players entering their top 5. Where is he? This is the guy that's in his top 5. Look at that difference. Like, that is so close. So we want to be scheduling this visit as early as possible because remember, Penn State can schedule one for next week. We want to schedule one for next week. So we go down here. We're still in hours from one of these 4 stars. Preferably somebody we have a fat lead on. Who do we have a fat lead on? There's a fat lead. Give me them back. So I'm take 50. I give him 10 back, and he just gets 10 hours this week. Some people treat it as an allowance, and they just kind of shuffle hours around the whole board. But I'm not doing all that. But anyway, so he's in his top five. He's in his top five, but we have a fat lead, and we're kind of gaining faster than anybody else. So I'm okay with not giving him a visit. Same thing here. Big league, gaining faster than anybody else. Like, this happens sometimes in online leagues where you're just outgaining everybody else because either they're playing around and putting 25 hours on people, or maybe they don't have as much influence in their coaches as you do because you have a preferably elite recruiter on your coach, elite recruiter on the assistant coaches, and so like all that stuff kind of triples up, and so your influence gains super fast, and you're able to lock these players down by like week 4. So in this case, because like I said, you went to the bathroom at 8:58 to be able to go, in here and schedule this visit for week 5 before Penn State beats you to it, and you're gonna look for that best grade. Unfortunately, a B plus is the best grade. We want to get that in there. All right, let's go. Now, every week, I'm not going to do it, but every week we're going through the top 5 and we're double checking to make sure that we're hard selling everybody that can be hard sell. Something else you want to do is, to be certain, you want to go to your hard sales that you've already put on the players and make sure that you pick the right one. There have been a few times where I've picked the wrong hard sell and like it wasn't his ideal pitch, even though I, was certain that it was. Whatever, something happened. I don't know. I was high or something. Who knows? But you want to make sure that you have the hard sell on and it's accurate and it's what it should be. Okay. Now, I'm glad this happened. Actually, let me show you something right here. So, the last thing I'll talk about in this video, complimentary visits. All right. If you look over to the right, you'll see if I schedule this tackle for a complimentary visit with quarterback Eli Gideon, you'll see that he gets kind of like that complimentary visit bonus. Most of you kind of knew about that already, especially if you've been playing this game for a while. What I would suggest doing though, like I need to share my Google Doc with my online league, but I have like a list of the positions and the complimentary visits for those like positions. So like quarterback, running back, or quarterback receiver, stuff like that. Like they get different bonuses. We scheduled a visit for this 5-star quarterback. So what we want to do is we want to schedule as many complimentary visits for next week as we can to give him the maximum boost. If he gets maximum boost, like honestly, there's a chance that he like literally commits next week, even though it's this big of a difference. So it's unlikely that he commits with just one good game. But if you blow them out, like let's say if like we blow at Florida State out, they're the same tier as us. Say we blow them out and we have 3 other complimentary visits on there. I mean, like literally, sky's the limit with these complimentary visits. It's kind of crazy. So we want to stack those bad boys up. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear up some hours from some of these players that we care a little bit less about. Some of these maybe 3 stars, 4 stars, or whatever. Let's see, we want to take hours away from any of these lower tier players. So yeah, we catching up with him, but we still taking him hours because, and you can be strategic with it. So like, ideally, if I'm in a dynasty and I care about it and I'm trying to get this linebacker, I probably wouldn't take hours from him because we're losing. I'd probably look for somebody else like this and take hours from them. But I would always be conscious of when those visits are scheduled for, how fast people are gaining on me. I got to be thinking about the whole picture. Like, can I afford to have a week without any hours on him? In this case, absolutely. I could. I could definitely afford to not have any hours on him, so I'm taking him back. Low-key, I might just take the 10 from him because he got that hard sell. I like to leave that on there. This guy right here, big fat lead, give me my 10 hours back. Oh, we got enough for a visit. So, like, let's say we're going to go through and we're going to schedule a visit for this guy. No, Texas Tech, you're getting in the way. Texas Tech locked me out of that visit for next week. That sucks, but that's okay. Let's look for some complimentary visits somewhere in here. Oh, Clemson's getting involved. That's not good. I low-key might kick him off my board. Give me my 10 hours back. All right, so we got, oh, cool. We got a wide receiver right here. Let's go. Schedule that visit. Look at that arrow up. Quarterback, give me that visit, bro. Let's get it. So we putting that in there, and we looking for more. We want all the complimentary visits. If I can't find any, I'm going to go look for new players that happen to have me in a top 5 to schedule them for a visit. That might be a little bit cheesy, but some people have done it. I mean, I think I have done that before. Let me see. So, low key said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna need the miles, bro. I'm gonna give you. You can get these 10. You can get 15 hours back. How about that? Actually, never mind. I want to show the power of like compounding these complimentary visits. So we taking those back. I might take these owls back. Okay. So we have two complimentary visits now. So we have two scheduled. Some people will stop at that. Personally, it depends. It depends. If all right, let's pretend if this quarterback was like life changing for me or like dynasty changing for me. If I'm a team that didn't have any quarterback, I didn't scout him. But I'm saying like if I didn't have a quarterback and I needed a guy and I felt like this was the guy, I'm going all out. Like I want him to have the best visit ever. So like I said, I got the two tiers, 2 arrows up, and I have the complimentary visit from the the athlete that I put on there, which was a receiver, I believe. Like now, what I'm doing is I'm looking for two more players. I want all of them to really just like compound in terms of their complimentary visit. I think you get what I'm trying to say here. Like you just want them to have the best visit ever because you want the player to come to your team. So we're gonna go ahead and put that center in there. Throw that center in there. Let's see. Proximity to home is his best grade. Give him that. Look at that visit. All right. Let's see. We now we cooking. Look at that. We get the two complimentary visit bonuses, and we got the win bonus. Like, and don't mess around and get a blowout win, or let this be a rivalry game and you get a blowout win. All right, y'all ain't talking to me. All right, let's see. Um, I need one more player. I need one more. I'm gonna go to the prospect list because I do want to schedule another. I want to schedule another player, but I might not be able to find somebody. And so like this is not something I would do often by any means because it can be a waste of hours because really you end up wasting hours on a player that maybe you don't necessarily want, if that makes sense. Dang. I don't know. I might not be able to find any players. Yeah, because I mean, this I feel like is like a last ditch effort, to find somebody to compound that visit with. We already put a center there, a tackle, maybe a tackle. No, there's nobody in the top five that has me in the top five. Okay, well, it looks like in this case we're only going to be able to put two. But there have been plenty of situations where I've been able to put like like get four players and like have them all complement the quarterback or something like that. You can even like get weird with it and like use a player at a position that you already added to the visit. So like see that center, the center is boosting the quarterback. You can even add another center to boost the quarterback again, even though the center would receive kind of like a penalty because of because you have two centers on the same visit, but it would still boost the quarterback. So like if this player right here was a top five, if I'm willing to lose him, I would add him to the visit too just to boost the quarterback. So it depends on like what your priorities are. Oh wait, I got 50 hours left to use. I still got to use those. If I can't find any complimentary visits, then I'm trying to get another player on a visit. Let's see, probably somebody that's closer. He's a little bit closer and visit. All right, whatever, that's fine. We got a big lead. All right. Mm. Okay, so we're just gonna advance just to see the benefits of that visit. Oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna actually go schedule Penn State a visit for week 6 and see the difference that makes. Just to show the difference and like the importance of scheduling a visit earlier than somebody else. Sorry, I got a message from a user in the online league. All right, so let's see what are we doing. Oh yeah, so we're gonna try to schedule this visit for this 5 star. LOL. They got locked out because of playing style, but that's okay. All right, sweet. So we're gonna schedule this visit for week 6. I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay, so let's go back to quarterback. Schedule this visit. It's like, oh no, the stupid team beat me for week 5. Now I can't schedule the visit. Got to schedule it for week 6. All right. So, and let's pretend in this case, Penn State doesn't know a couple things. One, they don't know that they should have gotten on this game sooner to schedule that visit for week 5 because they don't know how impactful scheduling that visit a week earlier can be because clearly they didn't because they scheduled it later just now. They also don't know that SMU has, 2 complimentary visits coming for that game also. You know what I mean? So, like, that visit could be very, very impactful. And Penn State was kind of lax about it and waited till now to schedule it. So we'll see if that bites them in the butt, like when we advance right now. Let's see. Let's see if Penn State gets bit in the butt. Okay, okay. Oh wait, we did this. Let's go. Let's advance, right? Wait, what week are we in? We in week 4. Yep. Advance this thing. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh no, I got locked out of some 4 stars that I took hours from. That's fine. Okay, you know what? I just thought about I was thinking the visit was last week, but we're moving into the week of the visit. So like, let's see where we are right now. Low key, I just thought about something. I didn't hard sell for either one of these. I suck. So like, I'm gonna go ahead and get that hard sell. And if we look at our grades, let's see if it's worth hard selling. We got a C plus, which is worth a 6, A minus, which is worth a 10. That's 16. Then up top we have a B minus, which is 7. 16 plus 7. That meets our criteria. That takes us over the 21 mark. So we are trying to hard sell. We should have been hard selling earlier. So I'm just making a video showing you what you should be doing and telling you what you should be doing. When you in your own dynasties, be more detailed with your team building and making sure that you're hard selling on everybody as early as humanly possible, obviously. All right. So we have 160 hours left now. Let's see who can we add hours to that does not have hours maxed out. Don't like how fast they moving in. Let's add the. Oh, we can hard sell now. But can we? We have an A. An A is 11. We have a B minus. That's 11 plus 7 is 18. What's that other grade? A D. A D is a 2. That is not good enough to hard sell. So just add to 50 and hope for the best. We'll see how they do next week. They have a visit in week 10 because CPU is stupid. So we might be able to schedule a visit later for like. Oh man, yeah, never mind. Because no point. There's very little point in scheduling a visit during a bye week unless you're putting those complimentary visits on there. If you can schedule 4 players or 4 positions that complement each other and during a bye week, you can still get a lot of influence from it. I've gotten some 5 stars to commit in like other online leagues because of complimentary visits during those weeks. So like I'm gonna say let's add hours back to this guy. Let's see where we at with this guy. Oh man, let's put these hours back on him. Actually, we can hard sell him. I think I see some good grades. Yep. So basically, if you got like two greens and a yellow, meaning like two A's and a B, you don't have to go doing math. You just know that you got a good grade. You can hard sell. So that's what we're doing. Boom. Let's get it. Look at that. We've caught up with them. That's crazy work. That's crazy work, y'all. All right. We got 10 more hours. I'm just, oh man, yeah, we kicking them off the board. Ain't no point. We lost that fight. We losing that fight. I don't feel like fighting back from it. We got locked out of so many, but that's okay. So we have 10 hours left. Kick off the people. You should be going through every player each week, kicking off the people that you're losing battles on. Now, let's pretend this is somebody we care about. He's not in his top 5 yet. We'll just go ahead and add our last 10 hours to him, move him to the top of the board so that we can watch him as soon as we clear up some hours from all these visits we scheduled. Let's see. I want to make sure that Penn State has a hard sell on him too, because I don't think I put a hard sell for that quarterback that we're scouting. We're almost done with this video. This has been a long video, but it's all good because I like recruiting. I can do this all day. Let's see. Back to the quarterback. All right, so yeah, I haven't hard sell for them either, so it's not like they had a disadvantage. So hard sell as soon as possible. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, yep, boom, got that hard sell on them. All right, we ready. All right, let's advance. Let's see how this visit goes. We put a force win in so we know that we're winning the game. It's important that you win the game, so don't schedule a visit for a game that you know you're gonna lose. Like if you're going against the league, national championship winner in your league, don't schedule a visit for that week. Like, don't be stupid. All right. Let's see what we're working with. Going straight to the quarterback because that's all we care about. Look at that jump, y'all. That is a fat jump. That's crazy. Now, with that being said, we're not going to do any more recruiting, any in-depth recruiting anymore. We're just going to advance another week and see if Penn State ends up getting him. Because remember, Penn State has a hard sell on them. They have slightly better grades than we do. But we also have a hard sell and we just had a visit. Now, if somebody gets a visit right before the player commits, if the visit is good enough, then they should, they might win. The thing is wins aren't guaranteed. But in this case, Penn State could very much win this player with a really good game, especially if they have complimentary visits. We know Penn State doesn't because we control Penn State and we haven't scheduled any. But you don't know that as a user, for another team. You don't know how many complimentary visits they schedule. All right. All right. So let's go ahead. Just like I said, we're just going to advance again and see what that quarterback does. Let's see if we got that man. If Penn State wins their game, there's a chance that they get him. They got me excited. You see how they played me just now? Give me this full stock quarterback popping up on my screen. All these players popping up on my screen, but the guy I wanted. Well, I don't see the quarterback. Where's the 5-star quarterback at? All these delays. They know what I'm trying to see. Get out of my way. Oh man, that is close. That is crazy. But we got him. We gonna win this guy. That is crazy how close he is to committing. So I mean, like, if you see that, if you rewind back a little bit, you'll see how how much we gained from our visit versus how much Penn State gained from their visit. I'm gonna go see if Penn State won their game or lost their game because that'll make a big difference too. Let me see. All right, so Penn State did win their game. Blowouts are better. You get more points for the blowouts in terms of like visit points. But just like our visit gave us this much, and Penn State's visit gave them that much, and like really the biggest difference was the complimentary visits. We had a lot of complimentary visits going on in that visit. A lot of them. So most likely we're going to win this player now. I'd be shocked if we didn't, even though they just got that fat jump. And it was all because we gave visits they didn't. Or complimentary visits anyways. So like let's jump forward again. We wasting hours, but that's okay. It's just to show you the show you the process. But and let's go. We got them. And like the only reason we got them was because of complimentary visits. And the complimentary visits don't have to be 5-star players or whatever. Like you can have a 5-star getting his visit complimented or boosted by like 1-star players. You can have 3 1-star players come visit. Yeah, it's crazy. That is real crazy. And so what that means is, in a sense, like if you know early on, like if you like let's say I don't know, let's look at this real quick. Say this cornerback right here. If I wanted to be cheesy, in theory, I could go in here like around like I don't know as he gets close to his top 5. Like he's in his top 5 now, but like say 3 weeks ago, what I could have done was go in here and offer some scholarships and some hours to like a free safety, a strong safety, maybe some linebackers or something, whatever it is, just to schedule some visits for them, just to boost his visits or his complimentary visits if that was somebody I needed to have. If it was somebody I absolutely must have had, you know what I mean? Like if it's a player that was just that elite that you needed and you wanted to make sure his visit went absolutely perfect, you could do that. And I mean, you're going to sacrifice those hours that could have been going towards another player, but you still, in theory, could have done that. I think I don't really have much else to say about this process, but I think you got to see a lot. Um, my talking was all over the place because I didn't really write a script for this, but I think you get the point. If you watch this video, you should very much be able to compete with me, especially if you pay more attention to every aspect of your player and your team building that you should. Just let me know if you have any questions, though. You have a good night.